Almost forgot to get my book out. So, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining me. If you are catching the playback of this, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I am bringing to you a lot of content. I think it's really good content and quality content because this content can stick around even after I'm off of YouTube. You feel me? So, give me a second. Oh, shoot. Kick the wire. All right. I have moved areas today. So, I'm at my desk in my office. I am rearranging my office. Actually, I'm redecorating everything in the spa. So I'm just getting every little nook and cranny and stuff I just been holding out. So, anywho, I'm in a new area today. So anyway, thank you for joining me. If you are new here, stay here for a little bit, get some information, get some knowledge, get you something to work with, something to empower yourself with. Because at this particular point, I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to share this level of content. 10 years ago, I would have thought I was crazy. 10 years ago, I would have thought I can't do that. To talk about what I'm talking about, to be on these platforms and share the type of content that I'm sharing. Not that it's conspiracy, not that it's anything crazy or off the chain, but what it is, it requires you to dive deep within yourself, be honest with yourself, take accountability for what you do every single day. It requires you to face yourself. And one of the scariest things that can happen in this lifetime is you find out that once you look yourself in the eyes and get real with yourself, that you no longer talk about your potential anymore. You talk about what you do now, and you talk about where you are going to go and how you're going to get there. There is no more uncertainty, there's no more doubt, there's no more fear, there is no more obstruction and stumbling and anything that could be considered a block. You build with it or you use it to get to your next level. Stumbling blocks don't exist when you get to a certain level of healed. It is that you either use it or you learn how to remove it. It's your tool now. It's something that gives you more quality of your character experience. So, with that, I'm sharing with you content that is for you to use in your day to day life so that not only do you heal on a cellular level, right? Your arteries, your veins, your lymphatic system, your respiratory system, your circulatory, lymphatic, urinary tract, all your systems are now on board. You are working with a well oiled, well fueled, well energized system now, right? Well, if you look at yourself like you should, you are a light being, meaning you carry a glow within you. And people are not only attracted to glow, but you are also attractive in nature, meaning that then the things around you conspire to open up just for you. So the trees get wind of you, the waters get wind of you, the birds, everything sees you differently now. So you see life differently when you are healed. How you move becomes completely different than you could have ever imagined because you're not in the place that you used to be. It is now unrecognizable to you because you have done your work. So I'm sharing with you that level and that type of content because I know it's important for the next day. It's important for tomorrow. Those of us who get to stick around 10 years from now, those of us who are around 20 years from now, those of us who are around 30, 40, 50 years from now, if we are taking care of ourselves today and we get together and we work collectively along the way, we can have a whole different place because we have now started to work on our light. We are not fussing and fighting about indifferences. We are now collaborating because we all know herbs work. We all know that the water needs to be clean. We all know that children, it's not about the educational system, but it's the learning that they get. Are people really sharing what the children need so they can be happy later on and be adults like us in 20 and 30 years? And our children are excited, they're vibrant, which has now changed and elevated the frequency of the planet. Think about it. If the children that we have today can grow up happy 20, 30, 40 years from now, the children that you will have, the children that they will have, and the children that they will have all have been impacted But we got to start doing the work right now. Are we following? Are we following? Hey, thank you. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you all. Go ahead and let me just do my introduction. Y'all know, like I said, I'm in a different area today, right? So I wrote my notes down just for how I wanted to make sure I stay focused because I'm not at my normal computer, right? So I got my little trusty tablet. I have my healing herbs book, my herbal healing book. We're going to dive into what should we be consuming for our light, right? I'm going to talk to you about new extracts, talk to you about cellular nutrition, microcellular nutrition, and then I'm going to talk to you about everything that I've been talking about the week, right? So I built up on Tuesday. I think I started doing videos. I've been doing Tuesdays every day this week at 11 a.m. And so on Tuesday, I started sharing with everyone why it's important to be in the right frequency. We started out really light. So why it's important to be in the right frequency. When you're in the right frequency, you're able to attract and you're also able to emit the energy that needs to be out here, essentially in the environment, in your family, in your job, in your career. And so things work better for you when you're in the right frequency. You're in harmony with those things that are in you and around you. So we talked about that very, very simply, right? Then on Wednesday, I think that's right. Wednesday, we dove into frequency and sound. We talked about hertz. We talked about the different wavelengths. We talked about how important it is to have the right sound so that if you are going through some things, it's important to have the right people to call. If you are needing to get your spirits up, we danced a little bit. I got a copyright. I did. I told y'all YouTube was going to get me. And I think it's because I went over 30 seconds, but I couldn't help it. So we listened to Tone, right? We got into a whole vibe. We danced a little bit. We sang a little bit because we had to raise our frequency. We had to raise the vibration. Then we got into yesterday and we were talking a little bit more about sound and frequency. Then we started talking about instruments, right? I want to tell you what I learned last night. I didn't even go to sleep until 2 o'clock this morning. And right now, I can't see it. It's 11:13. I went to sleep at 2 o'clock. I've been at work for, I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't even gonna lie. Let me stop lying. I ain't been at work that long. I haven't really. That's the beauty of working for myself. I have control over my day. I get up when I want. I kind of come to work when I want. I schedule appointments when I want. I really created a life that I intended to 10 years ago. I'm going to share a tidbit with you and then I'm going to do my real introduction. A tidbit that I did, I used to be an insurance agent. I worked I always said I would never mention the name because I don't like them folks, okay? And it's not that I don't like the company. I didn't care for the management. So long story short, I worked for a company, was an amazing insurance agent, but I was not fulfilled. And I went I went on a mission trip, right? I went on a mission trip. I went to Belize. My mother and I went to Belize for 10 days and I got back and I said, "Oh no. I'm in the wrong job. I'm in the wrong position. I'm in the wrong place." So for about a year, I took little sticky notes and I would put them everywhere, everywhere. And I would affirm myself. So I get paid to do exactly what I want to do every single day. I get paid to be myself. I wanted to be in that mindset because I never wanted to be attached to the job. I never wanted to be attached to them telling me where I had to be, where I couldn't be. If I didn't like a coworker, if they were doing something wrong with the policies, if they were doing business bad, I didn't want to be the one that was dependent on a job. And so when ethically, the ethics of what someone else may have been doing, I didn't want to be a part of it. So I had to start affirming myself so I could see the vision of getting up out of there. So anyway, a game that I played at my computer every single day, like clockwork. You need to do it for at least 30 days to get this, okay? For 30 days, you need to set a calendar and show up for yourself to give yourself this right here. This is the game. I opened up an Excel spreadsheet, and day one, I had $1,000, and I had to spend the $1,000 on day one. On day 2, it compounded. So on day 2, I went from 1,000 to 2,000. On day 3, I went to 4,000. On day 5, I went to 8,000. On day, what is that, 6, I went to 16,000. On day 7, I went to 32,000. I had to figure out how to spend $32,000 in a span, not just of 7 days. That was 32,000 on that day. So every day I had to figure it out. So what I figured out in the end of the game, because the game is, what would you do if you won the lottery? Ask yourself that. What would you do if you won the lottery? That means money is no longer an object. Clocking in is no longer an object. You're not on a time clock. You have the privilege to go wherever you want to go, when you want to go. You put your room, you put yourself in rooms that you really want to be in. When you go in those rooms, how do they talk about you? What do they say? How are they introducing you? What influence do you have? Because, when people win the lottery, most people don't know how to spend the lottery money. And so within the first 2 years of winning a massive amount of money, they're bankrupt. They're bankrupt. It's because they didn't have the skills to budget. They didn't have the skills to get balanced. They didn't have the skill to be in harmony with their highest self and their highest good. And so they lose the money. So I told myself, well, hey, I'm playing this game. And if I never win the lottery, I never win the lottery. But not only do I know how to spend money now and what I would spend money on, what I do know is I know how to take the pressure and the anxiety off myself because I'm no longer performing. When you are at a job and it's about performance, hi, how you do? That's why Black folks know how to code switch very easily, because it's about performance. We are performing. I'm just going to be real with y'all. We perform. We can code switch all day, because if I talk to you how I really wanted to talk to you, it's no longer professional. And it's not that I have a problem with speaking well. It's just that I'm from Mississippi, baby. I'm going to talk how I want to talk. But when I'm in a professional setting, I don't need someone asking me all the time to repeat myself. You feel me? So with that, playing that game, that's a tip to you. That is a multi-million-dollar tip. I want you to know that. That's how much value I'm going to give you today. It's a multi-million-dollar tip. That is a mind exercise that people who are wanting to make a significant amount of money, they play that game. Here's why. Because when you get to a point where you make $1,000 a day, you can get to a point where you make $32,000 a day. You get into a point where you're making $156,000 a day, and your mind can conceive it. You don't blink at the fact that you have the tools within you to attract that to you. Because again, in the event you don't win, you got to know what you're going to do with it still. Well, you're going to have to think about what would you do with that money? How are you going to attract it? So long story short, I became a series of things after an insurance agent. I went back to school and became a psychologist. I went to school for community psychology. I also went to school for human performance, meaning that how does it properly perform? How is your body actually supposed to work? So I do know how much oxygen a human body is able to input, output, what is a maximum, what is minimum. I do also know when a corporate company can call me in and they need to talk about how to take things to more ergonomic direction, how to make things more streamlined, how to get their technology and their employee in line so that there is better human performance. Because I am a mind, okay? I share with all of you that because I am also a independent certified new extracts transformation coach. In that, I'm able to lead with this type of information. And in that, I'm able to share with you one of the most powerful products, one of the most powerful technologies, one of the most powerful herbal tinctures, herbal nutrition. It's actually called quantum molecular nutrition. Can you say that with me 3 times? Quantum molecular nutrition. Quantum molecular nutrition. This is not your run-of-the-mill grocery store processed supplements. This is not one of your, I got it off of my friend from Facebook, one of those, I'm going to pass it around and maybe somebody will buy it. No, this is where the elite begin their journey in discovering how do you reverse aging. We're going to get into why, how, and all those things. But I want to share with you, if you want more information from me, if you want to connect directly with me, please go to my website. It is iliftforlife.com. iliftforlife.com. It is in the bio. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. Again, I appreciate you for joining me. We are going to dive into what I was deep into last night, honey. Listen, some people was running the plays of other people's lives last night. You know, a friend of mine and I have a Facebook group called Minding My Own Black Business of Kansas. I minds my own black business, okay? That's personally, professionally, I minds my black business, okay? So I could be deep off in someone else's business that they keep plastering on television, in the blogs. I definitely could. I could have stayed up on my phone minding somebody else's business, but I figured, let me mind my own business. Yeah, let me mind my own business. And what ended up happening was I got deep into the herbs, y'all. Somebody asked me yesterday, am I on that za? Listen, if I was, what you gonna do? I'm gonna tell you why I'm on them herbs. I ain't on that za. But I am on some herbs. So anyway, I am on new extracts. It is a quantum cellular molecular nutrition. I'm going to dive into why you should start learning the herbs of the earth. Why on earth is it so important to know our flowers? Why on earth is it important for us to know our trees? Why should we be studying these things? Why should we understand these things? Well, when you first just look at it, you're saying, oh, the pretty flower. But when you find out you can eat the flower, right? I remember being a kid. Tell me, maybe this is aging me. You drop a comment and tell me, when you were a kid, back in way when, whatever that was, did you guys have flowers that you ate? We ate flowers. We did. I remember there was some little yellow flowers. They were super tiny little yellow flowers, and they tasted like not lemon heads, but they tasted like the tart of a lemon, and it was just slightly sweet, just slightly. And so we used to pick these little yellow flowers as kids, and we just, oh, it was like tasting little candy, but it was like little pods even. And so if the flower hadn't opened up yet, it was still a pod. And if you got the pod just right, it tasted like candy. And the flower, if the flower was mature and you ate it, it was just, it was refreshing on a hot summer day when you didn't want to go back in the house. And so what we would do is we'd get a little handful of these flowers and we put them in our mouth and we go to the water hose. Anybody else? Am I aging myself? Anybody else drink at the water hose? How about that part? If you didn't eat flowers growing up, did you drink out of the water hose? Okay. Drop it in the comments if you did. Did you eat flowers or did you drink out of the water hose? Just tell me. While you are typing down in the comments below, I want to show you iHercules. I'm going to tell you what is in iHercules, and I'm actually going to use the ingredients of iHercules to go into my herbal healing book and tell you why you need to be adding these herbs to your meals every single day. I'm going to tell you why you need to start adding specific herbs every single day to every single meal, and or to your drinks, or to some form of you ingesting these particular herbs. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to go through the benefits of why we should be consuming herbs, why we should be consuming flowers, why we should be consuming fruit. I'm going to share with you this information, but I'm going to start by taking my iHercules because yesterday I ran out. So I'm officially a spray girly. I'm going to go and spray. It's 4 sprays, but you do it twice a day. So I'm going to go and do my spray. You let it sit under your tongue. Oh, I'm going to go get my drink in a minute. For 15 minutes. So I'm going to go. Here we go. And it does have a very Strong taste. Now, if you are used to taking herbs, you're not even going to flinch. You're not going to blink an eye. But if you have never taken herbs before, most people don't like vegetables. I'm a reserve judgment. Now, somebody was on my video yesterday, and I engaged them. And they was talking about why black women average weight is 180 pounds. Let's not even talk about anybody specific. I don't know why people don't eat vegetables. I know your urine's stinking. I know your dukes is itching. Uh, I know you got some poor gut health. If you're not eating herbs in your food, I don't know what you're doing. So I'm gonna spray one more time because I did miss last night. But I had a new bottle here. The papers. Okay, so let's get into it. New extracts. This spray that I just sprayed. Why am I telling you about it? Why am I coming to you talking about herbs? Why am I talking to you about frequencies? Why am I talking to you even about healing? Why is it so important? Okay, so how I got introduced to new extracts is I had a head injury back in November of 2021. This head injury, your girl was out there doing boga yoga. If you never heard of boga yoga, it is where you get on a boogie board and you are supposed to be balancing yourself by doing yoga poses. And so when you're on the water, you have to find a way to balance out. I was good. I was doing good. I promise. However, me and the girl, I don't even want to say girl. I don't want to be disrespectful. Me and the lady, okay? Me and the lady that was next to me, I feel like it was some friendly girl competition. I wasn't hating. She wasn't hating. We was doing good together. She would rock. I would rock. And while she rocked, I was pausing. But when she rocked, I was posing while she was rocking. And while I was rocking, she was posing. Now, I did not try to create waves on her at all, period, point blank. Ain't nobody ever gonna make me say that I did. I did not try to create waves on this lady. She did amazing. Her downward dog, her her snake, all that. She did amazing. Okay. Me on the other hand, when it was my turn, I wasn't trying to show out. I promise I was not trying to show out. She got to rocking though. I don't know why she wanted to cause a tsunami. I don't. I don't know why. But when I went to go downward, I went headfirst into the water. And the trajectory of how I hit the water, the way that the pressure hit the soft tissues in my nasal cavity, the way that it just all happened in the angles and it just happened so perfectly that I was the one that ended up with a hematoma and a concussion. I know, me too. I was surprised too. Because I was doing good, y'all. I was doing boga yoga. I was working out every single day. I was in my zen. I was in my zone. You couldn't tell me nothing. Your girl was getting fit. I was getting snatched. I was on my way. Baby, I was ready to take the pictures. It was like camera action. I was in there. And then I had this huge knot on my head. I had the most extreme electrocuting pulses going through my body. I felt not myself. I didn't know what to do. And my friend called and said, hey, I got this new extracts. It's a microcirculation blood cleaner. It helps you to open up your veins, your lymphatic system. She's trying to pitch it to me. And I said, I can't hear you. I got this pain. I can't, whatever you're saying, I can't hear you. And she said, oh, okay. I'll talk to you later. She called me back a couple weeks later. I know you said don't call, but let me tell you a little bit more. She's like, you got to try it. People who have varicose veins, they're going away. People who have different issues, they have had heart issues, they've had kidney issues, they have having these type of problems. I can't say it's going to do anything for you, and I can't say anything, but what I can say is just try it. And I said, girl, if you don't get up off my phone, I said I'm in pain. Y'all, I went through pain for 3 months. My trade skill is a massage therapist. Not only is my trade skill a massage therapist, I was at the point where I was just starting to spring in my area being a massage therapist. I was just starting to pick up momentum. I was just starting to get clients. I was starting to make some significant amount of money, right? All that went away. All that went away. I went from having 15 to 20 clients a week to I was cool if I could just get one in. I was in so much pain. If I did have a massage and I had 2 or 3 in a day, I had to schedule them so far apart that I had to go home and lay down in between massages. It was that real. I was in pain. So one of those days, I'm sure. Matter of fact, let me tell you how much pain I was in. Ooh, God help me. I was in so much pain. I had a massage client. There was a homeless man sleeping outside on the side of the building. And we were always told, make sure you move the homeless people on, right? During business hours, the homeless people do have to move. But at nighttime, they could stay. And so a homeless man was laying out on the sidewalk. And he was just laying there. And I said, hey, you're going to have to go and get up, And he said, And I said, you just don't realize I would love to be at home laying down right now. And I know that doesn't sound the same. But wherever you can go, whatever you got to do, just go do it. And we ended up talking about, I don't know, have y'all ever heard of Gracie's Corner? And it was like, I know I can do what I want to do. I had been playing that song to get out of bed. And I said, hey, let me give you this song. I don't know. It's a kid's song. I know it sounds weird, but let me give you this song. It's an affirmation song. I got to give you some affirmations. And the same day, my friend called and said, hey, I know you said don't call you, but let me just share something with you. And I said, well, okay. And so she sent it to me. This very bottle right here. She sent it to me. It just so happened, I also was listening to some things and they said, go get a grounding mat, an earthing mat. I got 2 earthing mats right here in the spa right now. To go get an earthing mat. So I got the earthing mat and I got this around the same time. I started with the earthing mat, and within 72 hours of taking this, 72 hours, I was down to at least 40% of pain. I went from debilitating pain, no pain medicine over the counter was working. I refused to take any prescription medication. I did not want to have any synthetic drug in my body. I was that girl. Okay. I was on my she stuff. Right. And I was just like, and within 72 hours, and I said, girl, what is this? What you done gave me? Hold on. I've been walking around here crying every single day crying. And I've been telling you to get off my phone. And here it was all along. You know what? I'm going to take it and I'm going to buy it. I took it. I bought it. I went through several cycles of cleaning my blood. By July of the next year, so I got injured November 21. I just got injured right before Thanksgiving, November of 2021. I started taking the product in February of 2022. By June of 2022, anything and everything that bound me. I dealt with depression that I had from 20 years before. I dealt with issues that I carried around that I was upset about, things that I had fear about, things that I questioned. The lights just started, the downloads started getting realer and realer and realer and realer. And when I say the downloads, the things that I saw, the things that I heard, the things that I know to be true, the things that came in, and it's almost like slow motion, everybody else, but I could move fast. I got it. I started attracting things that I had secretly desired. I don't know if y'all know what that means, right? There's things that you desire, like you're talking to somebody and you're like, oh yeah, I would love to do this. Da, 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 da. Oh yeah, sure, I could do that. But have you ever had secret desires? Secret desires are those things that you don't tell nobody. Because if you tell people, they change the frequency and the energy of it, then you start questioning it. The secret desires, those are the things that you envision in your head and then you go write down at home, but you don't want to tell nobody because you don't want nobody to steal it. The secret desires, those things that you really are just when I know it, know it, know it, know it, know it, know it. The secret desires, it's when things get in alignment with what you know. It just happens to work out perfectly. The secret desires, those things. Oh, girl, where you came from? It's like you came out of nowhere. You just came out. No, I wouldn't. I was grinding and working just like everybody else. But my secret desires, the things that I held for myself, the things that I knew I needed to work on because ain't nobody gonna take it from me, my secret desires, they came into manifestation. And it's because I cleared out that dirty, toxic debris that was in my body. I didn't realize what I was doing in 22. I didn't realize the power of what I have right now. I didn't understand it. It had to cultivate, it had to grow. And when it finally took off, it finally germinated and rooted and got down in me. When I really figured out what I really got, I decided that I wanted to share it. You follow what I'm saying? So I share to you not just my own experience, but I share with you science. I share with you truth. I share with you all the things that you are that you can fact check. Are you following? You can fact check it. Yes, thank you. Aisha is Aisha. I hope I'm saying that right. Thank you, thank you. I just want you to know you can have some sparkling diamonds too. We talked about that yesterday. Shine bright like a diamond. We did it. Shine bright. I know I can sing, but I'm just on the cue right now. Listen, I want to share with you how to get the glow. So I share with everybody on my Facebook. If you have not joined my Facebook, this week we didn't talk to, well, I dropped a post. It's up to you to talk to me about it because I knew these are sensitive subjects. So let's talk about what we've talked about so far, right? So we talk about herbs. And so if you've been on my Facebook this week, you know how to get your skin glowing. Okay. One of the most old Ayurvedic tricks that you can do for yourself is get some turmeric. Turmeric is a golden powder. It has curcumin in it, and the curcumin is the orange that makes it glow. Well, when that turmeric gets into your bloodstream, your bloodstream has to glow on an energetic level. So if you want to glow, you want to have sparkling eyes, you want to have that glistening gloss on you by nature, not by cosmetics, it is up to you to consume things that are healthy for you. And one of those things is turmeric, sis. Get you some turmeric. I personally drink my turmeric in my coffee. I prefer my turmeric with coffee because it makes it earthy. Matter of fact, I had it with a chai latte today. And with that, if you really want that turmeric to be powerful in the sense of how it functions in your body, turmeric and black pepper, don't run from it. Don't question it. Try it. Try it for 30 days. Try it for a week. Matter of fact, try it for 3 days. Just try it. 3 days in a row, turmeric, black pepper, put it in your food, put it in your coffee, put it in your tea, put it in something that you are going to consume and let it do the work. Turmeric is also in the Hercules. I'm going to talk to you why it's important and what I'm telling you because I hope, it's not even I hope, I know someone is going to get activated with me doing this, okay? So the importance of what this is when you take the right herbs in the right way, they create a frequency and a harmony together. And when you understand how to harmonize herbs like a composer would harmonize music, you'll understand how to heal yourself from the inside. And I'm going to share with you the frequencies of herbs so that you completely can visualize, you can hear it, it's auditory to you, you can conceive it, you can see a comprehensive vision of how an herb works in your body, okay? All right, so I'm going to read this real quick. Listen. So she says, you are correct. I am Indian. We swear by turmeric, skin, health, immunity, all get sorted. We Indians are high on turmeric all the time. Girl, me too. Me too. But you got to use natural okay. Go and plug them in, sir. Go and plug them in. She said it has to be natural and organic. 1,000% correct. 1,000% correct. I'm getting to it. But turmeric every single day listen, I'm at a point now that if I don't even have my turmeric, I kind of get a little cranky. Like someone else would be like, I didn't have my coffee. I need my turmeric. Okay. So I promise you, add turmeric to your meals, to your drinks, add turmeric. She says she's Indian. It's Ayurvedic. It's the Indian culture, the Mediterranean cultures, The Italian cultures, it's a cultural thing to add turmeric to your meals. When you can get around people who have herbs in their meals every single day, I ain't talking about processed. I'm not talking about the garlic that you get in the powder from the grocery store that's on the shelves. No, I'm talking about when people using real garlic, people who are using real ginger, people who are using real roots, real herbs, real flowers in their meals. You can see it in their skin, you can see it in their body, you can see it in their behaviors. Can we talk about that too? People who eat herbs regularly are more calm. You know why? Because their nervous system is regulated, because their blood is clean, their mind is clear, they are focused, they are not worried about everybody else's business, honey. They are not trying to break in and figure out what everybody else is doing. They are too busy minding their own business. That's why when you do see the Indian culture, and respectfully, I have to apologize because I have been one to make a video a time or two. Not even going, baby. The somebody says, "Oh, they're so unsanitary over there." They doing it with their toes and their feet, and they put. Listen, everybody's not sanitary. Okay, that's out the way. However, for them to be as unsanitary as people talk about, listen, they still using the right herbs. They not getting their food out of a can. I ain't want to hit nobody though. I'm just saying. We talking about our Hercules. So we're gonna dive in. What is our Hercules? What am I talking about today? We are talking about microcellular nutrition. That's herbal healing. That's the scientific way of saying herbal healing. Micro circulation nutrition, molecular nutrition. If you want to talk to a scientist about why molecular nutrition is something that you can add to your diet every day, you can add molecular nutrition because your cells need to stabilize. Your cells need to be repaired. Your cells need to be energized and healed. That way, you have slowed down your aging. You have more energy. You feel renewed. You have a sense of rejuvenation. Your body's able to heal. So if you have any scars, scabs, wounds, if you have any injuries, your body's able to regenerate itself and you're able to perform the way that you should. Remember, I told you I studied human performance. You're able to have the oxygen that you should be having. You're able to excrete all the carbon dioxide that is now poison in your body now that it's circulated. You're able to get it out well. You're able to release those toxins. If you got too much potassium, if you got too much phosphates, if you have too many things in your body that's weighing you down and dimming your light, you have to have that open and clean vein system, the open and clean artery network. You have to have the open and clean lymphatic system because your body has to not only receive nutrition in the way that it should, but it should be able to eliminate the waste and the toxins in the way that it should. And any body that has a compromised circulatory system, meaning you're not getting the right amount of oxygen in and you're not outputting, the right amount of toxins out, you become compromised. And that's when you start seeing people on dialysis. That's when you start seeing people with medications that are synthetic forms of molecular nutrition. That's why doctors and medicines make so much money because people get desperate. They get desperate because they are unwilling to go figure out what in nature can you use to heal yourself. I grew up having a grandmother that could go in the backyard and get her medicine. I grew up with a grandmother that said, okay, baby, now you're going to get this one and you're going to put it with that one and we're going to mush it up. And then we're going to put some hot water on it and the cold going to be gone. And if that don't work, we're going to give you some cod liver oil. It's going to work. Okay. I had one of them grandmas. She didn't really go to the grocery store. Her food was at home. She could garden. She could barter with people. But see, we've gotten so far away from that and they've had to mass produce so much. Our food is so toxic. You don't know if you're getting the red 40 out. You don't know if you're getting the binder out. You don't know that. You don't know it until you start doing a detoxification where you find out that all that food never got excreted and now you got worms and parasites in your body. You don't know that until you know that. But what happens is we have a choice. way ahead of the game. When we eat right, we live different. We're more in harmony. We're more in tune. We're more in alignment. We're more focused. We're more energized and excited. Things that used to bother us, we don't have the mood swings like we used to have mood swings. So let's get into it. What is this, right? So the generation is not cooked. I think the beauty of it is we're here. If this generation was cooked, there wouldn't be any remnants. I just want to say that. If this generation was really cooked, there would be no remnants. That means the grandmothers, the elders, the storytellers, the story keepers, they would all be gone. And I just want you to know that there are still storytellers, there's elders still here. So this generation isn't cooked. The thing about it is we are so far off. The middleman, we are so far off. Those who are kind of like from the 1980s to like the 2000s, that little generation in there, the people that came in there, we got so turned around with all the propaganda. We got so turned around with all the harmful frequencies and rays that they threw at us. We got so turned around that anybody that's watching us right now, they are either going to realize that we don't know what we're doing either, or they're going to think that we know what we're talking about, because there's a group of us in this time. We got so turned around that our level of self-discovery has to be so intentional and so high that it changes everything. And we're that generation. My mama generation ain't. She's not. She's just the storyteller and the secret keeper. I promise you, my mama them. Anyone that's like 1970, 1965, 1960, 1955, those people are holding the traditional line so hard for us until we get our stuff together. So the generation that we're bringing in, like our children, they can see the balance of the elder and the new blood. Because otherwise, that's when they cooked. If we ain't here, they cooked. And if our elders ain't here, they cooked. So we have to be in conjunction and work together. So don't put it on them yet. Don't put it on them yet, because that's why we're here. That's our superpower, okay? Because if you really go toe-to-toe with somebody born between 1980 and 1999, I promise you, we cut different. I promise you, we different. We different kind of people. And that's good and bad. That's good and bad. All right, so we're going to dive into this book. And I'm going to show you when I show the context of what we're talking about. So I'm going to run through the ingredients in new extracts. Okay, so quantum cellular nutrition, this is what it is. Quantum cellular nutrition is when they have extracted the highest point of a cell in which it's their communication system. And the communication system for every body, every being, every item, every whatever. I didn't mean to say item, but every living creature, every living cell on this planet. Sorry if it's making too much noise. I hate when I do this because I don't ever take it outright. Every living cell on this, every living being on this planet has living biological cells. Are we following? We're going to do some basic, very basic biology right now. Every living being on this planet has a living cell. From an amoeba to a complex, organism like ourselves. An amoeba has one singular cell. An organism like us, we have multifunctioning cells in multifunctioning ways. Okay? With that, every cell, whether it's an amoeba or a complex organism like ourselves, all have stem cells or a stem cell. We following so far? Every living organism on this planet has a stem cell. That's the very basic information that we're going to start with. When you look at a stem cell, the stem cell is what makes up your DNA. Stem cells are coded. Stem cells have ends, and on the ends of them is telomeres. Telomeres is when someone says, I can see your light. You shine bright. I love your eyes. Ooh, you have nice pearly white teeth. Ooh, I love how your hair grows. Oh, I love how your skin. Ooh, she has a nice shape. Those are stem cells at work. Stem cells are the only cells that know how to regenerate and make themselves look like another cell. So if you get a cut on your hand, if you have a surgery, if you have an illness, you want stem cells that work properly to talk to the other cells. We can get into just a few of those other cells. We won't go deep into those cells because that's more complex and advanced anatomy class, and you're going to have to pay me for that one, okay? But when we talk about, for instance, when someone has HIV or an STD and they have bacteria in their body, those T cells, those white cells, those are what helps to fight infection. So if you want to have a high immune system to fight infections, whether it's an STD, a digestive issue, or whatever it is, and you need something for your T cells or your white cells, you want to get stem cells, whether it's through your herbs, your water, or whatever you can consume that helps. Some people do have to take synthetic medication, right? Whatever you can get to boost your cells, it's really you boosting up your stem cells. Let's talk about someone who may have been, dealing with cancer and they got to do chemotherapy. Well, before you can do chemotherapy, what do you have to do? Stem cell therapy. You got to get a stem cell treatment. That's when they take the stem cells out of your body, they recode it to where they don't have the same information that they had when they were in the body, meaning your stem cells are not going to look like the cancer and make it spread. Your stem cells are going to look like the healthier cell that they should, and go back in there and then tell the body, get rid of the cancer. And let's regenerate and renew this body. They need some stamina. They need some energy. That's what it is. Stem cells. Okay? That's where we're going with this. How do I know it's stem cells? Well, maybe the 5 Nobel Peace Prizes that they won with the science and medicine research that they did. Who is they? Dr. Anna Aslan. Oh, I'm naming names today. Dr. Anna Aslan was funded by the British royal family. We know who that is. We know who that is. The British royal family, after World War I, funded research on how to reverse aging. Let me go a step further. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a fact teller, a truth researcher, all of the above, however you want to name it, but I ain't going to tell no lie. I promise you I ain't going to tell no lie. The British royal family, they funded the research to reverse aging, but they also funded the research to understand blood. In that research, the scientists did so much research and created new technology to where they did quantum computing. They received Nobel Peace Prizes for quantum computing. And this is what they computed. They were able to extract the stem cells out of plants, inject it into blood cells of a human, and watch the human cell mimic the plant cell and heal itself. Now, how can we fact check that, right? I want you to go look up Dr. Anna Aslan, Romanian Society of Gerontology. If you want to go any deeper in that, also look up the British royal family and adrenochrome. We ready? We're going in there. With that, they learn how to extract the quantum cells out of a plant. You take it twice a day, 4 sprays. Let me tell you what's in it. And then I'm going to tell you what's in it. Siberian ginseng, astragalus, damanea, foti, alfalfa, wild celery, anise, lemon balm, basil, greater burdock, celery, dill, hyssop, juniper, rockweed, fennel, ginger, kolanatita, marjoram, great mullein, Abyssinian myrrh, parsley, dog rose, rosemary, saffron, crocus, sage, elder, tea plant, garden thyme, turmeric, verbena, white willow, black cherry, yarrow, garlic, artichoke, motherwort, hop, red raspberry, hawthorn, elecampane, or elecampane, however you say it, elecampane, fennel bulb, centauri herb, and food grade ethanol. So quantum molecular nutrition is when they're able to extract the cells out of plants, formulated to be food to the body. We're going to keep going. So I'm going to read out what some of these things do in this little tiny bottle. I want you to understand I am, yes, American, born in America. My mother was born in America, so was my father. My grandparents were born in America. As far back as I know that at least the last 5 generations were born in the United States, okay? With that, we identify to our native indigenous heritage, where we didn't necessarily call ourselves Indians at all. But with that, we practice more tribal family unit. We are modern, absolutely. But our family unit, we share information and we do things as a tribe. With that, I grew up. I can only talk about myself. I can't talk about all Black Americans. I can't talk about all Black Americans from Mississippi specifically. And I can't talk about anybody else's identity to tribe, nations, and things like that. But what I can tell you about what I know about myself is we are part of the Mississippian Blackfoot. And in that, we are to go and eat of the earth. We are not to slaughter and we are not to take life, but in consideration that if we have to, we be able to honor what gives life to us, because we have to give life back to it. That's just basics, right? But we didn't get into the science of it. Now I can understand the science of why you want to honor what you eat, because it has life in it. And this life has cells in it, and they can hear you. The food can hear you just like you hear the food, but it's on a quantum level. Are we following? Quantum level. In that, let's talk about the anise. This is a secretage. It's an herb that stimulates the body to secrete fluids to clear out congestion and normalize digestion. If you are a person that adds anise to your meals, I know that my pho, baby, I can tear some pho up. That is one of the spices used in there, as well as cardamom, as well as bay leaf, as well as peppercorns. They put these herbs in their food. Let me tell you why. It helps with bad breath. The licorice flavor in herbs that are used for thousands of years refreshing your breath. You can boil a few teaspoons of the seeds in a cup of water for a few minutes, strain it, and then drink it and use it as a mouthwash. Garlic, anise seeds are ingredients in a paregoric. It's an opium mixture that is used to settle the stomach and once commonly given to colicky babies. You think they putting it in pho for no reason? Food is medicine. All right. Influenza, sinusitis. I always mess that word up. Sinusitis and other respiratory ailments. Essential oil in anise seeds stimulates secretions from the linings of the throat and the lungs. That means it opens you up, like almost like a peppermint. Okay, it's going to open you up. The seeds can be used in tea, particularly appropriate in cases of unproductive cough. Used as a cough suppressant, anise is an ingredient that many cough medicines and lozenges formulate after. It also gives them a better flavor. The Greeks used tea made from anise and fennel for asthma and other respiratory ailments. Who? The Greeks? The Greeks? They was using this too? Maybe not in this form, but they were using it, the anise and the fennel, both in here, for asthma and respiratory ailments. Why? Because you are going to get open and clean pipes. This is formulated for open and clean arteries, open and clean veins, open and clean lymphatic system, open and clean everything. Okay? You're going to release that phlegm, get that gunk up out you, baby. Get that, ouch. You ever heard somebody coughing real bad? You're like, get that out. That don't sound good, honey. What you been smoking? What you been doing? Tell them to go get some anise seeds, okay? Go get some anise. It tastes like licorice. You gonna like it. Matter of fact, go over there to the pho restaurant. Go and tell them I plugged them in. The girl on YouTube said I need to come in here and get some pho today. Tell them I sent you. Because they got the seeds in there. They got the anise in there. They're using the spice. All right, let's keep going, right? What else did they say was in there? The Damanea. All right. Just real quick, it's an anti-inflammatory. It lowers blood pressure. It also increases sexual function. If you got a man who is struggling with erectile dysfunction, ED, you need to figure out what herbs to cook with, sir. You need to know what to put in the man's dishes to get him excited, to get him his blood circulating. All right. With that being said, Damanea is an aromatic shrub. It's of the hot and humid regions. It's from Texas, Mexico, Central America, and Namibia. Okay. Let's get into the medicinal uses for it. It's a flower. And let's start here. It says it indicates that the herb has blood pressure lowering effects and is an anti-inflammatory. It also seems to bind progesterone, but not estrogen, and may be helpful in menopause formulas and to increase sexual function. So, if it's you that is the problem. Now, I ain't going to say it's the problem in saying that if you have a dysfunctional or toxic relationship, we're not going to even talk about that right now. But if you're simply dealing with, I don't feel, what's the word? I don't feel desirable. I don't feel hot and bothered yet. I don't feel attracted. Sometimes it's nothing that he can do. Sometimes it's you. If you are dealing with sexual issues yourself, sister, get you some herbs, Damanea to be exact, but get you some herbs because it helps to improve your sexual function. Now, let me also give a plug that's not in here, but if you are a woman who is struggling with your lymphatic system in your vagina area, meaning you don't secrete enough moisture during any of your performances and your interactions, and you struggle with friction, because you got to talk right for YouTube. You got to talk right for YouTube, girl. If you are a sister that deals with dryness, I suggest to you and encourage to you, I don't know, these lights is attractive. I suggest to you to go get some slippery elm. Slippery elm you can get in a capsule. And I do suggest if you are a regular activity performer that you just take it on a regular basis. Just take it every day. It's just part of your supplements. But if you are a long distance lover, if you are a person who just, you have your your friend, you know how the old ladies say, that's just my friend. If you got a friend, or if you have a consistent lover and you want to stay in your WAP zone, get you some slippery elm, sir. That's all I'm saying. Okay, back to Damanea. It contains elements that directly stimulate the nerves, the genitals, the blood circulation, and metabolism, not just in women, but also in men. Let me tell you why. There was something that I grazed over, and I want to tell you what it is. Progesterone. Men and women have progesterone. If progesterone is too high in women, they are masculine. So I have high progesterone. I have PCOS. Women who typically have PCOS have high progesterone. With that being said, you might have some chin hairs, or you may have some small balding issues, or you have some weight that you carry irregularly. not necessarily the fupa, but you have a man build. For some women, it's your progesterone. Well, Damanea helps to regulate your progesterone. So, for you to get back into your feminine energy, sister, go ahead and get you some things, some supplements that make your ooey. You just in circulation. You just having a better flow. You don't feel blockages. You're not feeling overwhelmed. Okay. All right. So, anyway, we're gonna keep going. Oh, let me not forget sir. Let's not forget sir, okay? So, Damanea, along with other herbs, is used to treat sexual trauma, lack of sexual desire and pleasure, erectile dysfunction. However, it must be used consistently for several weeks and before it must be used consistently for several weeks before it is noticed. It may also act to clear the kidneys, help with digestion, relieve constipation, and clears cough and control bedwetting. So if you have children who are also struggling, you have a child that may have experienced sexual trauma, you may be dealing with a child that is bedwetting, or you have a man that's having some bed issues, baby, just get you some. Just get you some. It helps with depression, erectile dysfunction, menopause problems, and reduce sex drive. Let me tell you, the reason why they put the benefits of Damanea for specific health conditions may include the following, which is depression and nervousness. Well, if you are not properly having sexual interaction, I promise you, your nerves is bad and you probably are depressed. Let's just call a spade, baby. If you ain't getting your rooter and your tutor, I promise you, you got some nervous issues. Don't even matter. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you from. You could be the Pope. If you ain't getting it in, I promise you. There is a level of meditation that you have to do that your body probably still don't really understand, because it's a part of being harmonious with the earth to orgasm. So just keep going. Elder. Are we back? Elder. Elder was listed. Elder is a flower. It's considered a honeysuckle plant. So if you are walking, I'm in Kansas, one of the largest elderberry winemakers in the United States is actually in Kansas. And we can get their wine super cheap. We can also get their concentrate really cheap. So it is a known almost thing if you're a Kansan, right? If you have a cold, you go get this wine and you go get the concentrate. Yes, get the wine. Matter of fact, let me plug you in. You're going to want to get any elder. It is Wildwood Winery. I'm going to plug them. Wildwood Winery. And they sell elderberry wine. If you are not a wine drinker, get the sweet or semi-sweet. However, if you are a wine drinker, you cook with wine, you drink wine, you celebrate with wine, you put wine in your libations and in your rituals, you're going to want to get the dry or the semi-dry. Moving on, elderberry. Elderberry is a deciduous tree and it grows to 35 feet. Ooh, it's a big tree, right? So elderberry is one of the most effective herbs for preventing and treating colds and upper respiratory infections, eczema, and other skin conditions, and to reduce pain and inflammation. We live by elderberry. Matter of fact, if I am just going to the liquor store or the wine store and I pick out just what wine would I want, I'm going to pick out an elderberry wine. I'm not picking out a Concord grape. I'm not picking out, usually I won't pick out a Moscato or anything like that. I'm going to go straight to, do you have an elderberry wine? Honey, I just put y'all onto something. Take it, write it down, do something with it. Go get you some wine tomorrow. Get you some elderberry wine. Okay. With that, you heard all the things that it helps with. You can drink wine. Don't do it, Tori. Don't do it to her. You can drink wine and heal. Oh, I gotta get a t-shirt. Oh, you can drink wine and heal. Yes, you can. Let me tell you why. You can drink elderberry. It's gonna prevent and treat colds, upper respiratory infections, eczema, and other skin disorders. And reduce pain and inflammation. Don't say I didn't share none with you. Okay. It may be also helpful for patients with diabetes. It fosters increased glucose uptake out of the blood into the tissues. Elderberry stimulates the immune system and has shown some activity in preliminary trials against viruses such as herpes simplex HIV. Did y'all hear what I just said? Did y'all just hear what I just said? Remember I told y'all I had a head injury. Felt like I was being electrocuted. I started taking it. 3 days, y'all. 3 days. I read to you the ingredients, and I'm reading to you now the medicinal function of these ingredients. It was extracted on a quantum level. Are you hearing me? Go to my website, link in bio. If you can get your hands on some elder, I even plugged you in to go get the wine, child. Let me keep going. Hold on, I need to share something with you. Let me put you in. Let me put you in. I was 3 days in, and it changed my whole life. And now, in 2025, you still hear me talking. In folk medicine, elderflowers are used internally as teas for colds and fever. Elderflower also serves as a gargling mixture for respiratory disorders such as coughs and head colds. It has been used by nursing mothers to increase lactation. My friend and I talked about that yesterday. One of the hardest things for nursing mothers is no lactation. That's so hard. Elderberry has been used for swelling and inflammation. Homeopathic remedies exist for inflammation and respiratory tract. Elderberry is approved by the German Commission E for coughs and bronchitis, as well as for fevers and colds. It also may be good for hay fever and sinusitis. Benefits of elderberry for specific health conditions include the medicinal way that it serves you is it helps for asthma, bronchitis, influenza, sinusitis, and it also helps for pain. Y'all, we're going to keep going. The elecampane. This is a flowering perennial in the sunflower family. Elecampane, in this bottle too, is regarded as a long-term treatment for respiratory diseases such as asthma and bronchitis. It's also recommended as a daily supplement to improve digestion. It also is used for menstrual cramps, worm infestations, and headaches. You got parasites? Did you eat any food from the grocery store this week? Oh, yes, it's a real question. Did you get your food from a grocery store this week? If your answer is yes, you have processed foods in your body. If your body does not have the ability to excrete, extract, remove toxins the way that it should, that will sit in your body for a while. If you haven't had a series of bowel movements in the last few days, I want to share with you that probably, especially if you ate meat, your bowels are blocked up. You are backed up. You are full of shit. And I want to share with you that if you don't start taking some herbal supplements real soon, your body having an open lymphatic system, it's not going to work the way that it should. And the way that they've given us toxins these days, I would encourage you to help yourself by eliminating your worms. All right, I'm going back. I just wanted to add that in there. It is also used for menstrual cramps, worm infestation, and headaches. Homeopathic preparations are used for stomach ulcers and chronic coughs. You know somebody got a stomach ulcer, a chronic cough? Tell them to come over here and talk to me. My link is in the description below. Here, let's keep going. The benefits of elecampane for specific health conditions include bronchitis and pneumonia, infection. All right, we're going to keep going. What's another one? We already talked about fennel. We already talked about that. But if you got an upset stomach, you got gastration issues, your gallbladder has been cutting up, you want to add elecampane to your daily use, starting here. All right. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for joining. I'm just now looking at the comments. Here we go. All right. There we go. We're going to talk about garlic. Who eats garlic every day? Now, if you're cooking your own food, if you go to food in a restaurant, if you get food from a restaurant, I'm pretty sure everybody is consuming garlic. But the question is, how good is your garlic? Is it natural? Is it organic? Is it whole? Is it minced? How are you eating your garlic? Because it does matter. You should be eating your garlic chopped up in your food raw as often as possible. Raw garlic. Matter of fact, I was watching. Does anybody watch Katina Eats Kilos? Am I one of those people that eat? Am I one of those people that watch people that eat for competitions? Does anyone watch Katina Eats Kilos? She eats so much food. Well, the other day I watched a video from like a year ago with her and Randy Santel, and they were eating food, I want to say in Taiwan. But the food contest was garlic. In Chinese cultures, Asian cultures, they eat garlic for luck. Why does it make you lucky? Let's find out. Garlic is a pungent herb used around the world in cooking and natural medicine. The bulb is used fresh or dried, and it can be made into an oil. All right, folk medicine. Garlic was used for inflammation of the respiratory tract, such as whooping cough and bronchitis. It was also used for gastrointestinal ailments, particularly related to flatulence and gastrointestinal spasms. Other uses included are for menstrual pain and treatment of diabetes. If you have diabetes, you should be eating garlic every single day. I think they tell you that in those commercials. Externally, it was used for corns, warts, calluses, otitis, muscle pain, arthritis, and sciatica. Ayurvedic medicine uses it for bronchitis, constipation, joint pain, and fever. Homeopathic remedies exist for inflammation of the upper respiratory tract, digestive complaints, and muscle aches. Garlic is a popular herb for cardiovascular health. Numerous scientific studies support the use of garlic in lowering cholesterol levels, blood sugar, preventing heart attack and stroke, treating infections and cancers. Garlic may be able to reduce risk of blood clots and inhibitor tumors. The German Commission E approves it for raised cholesterol levels, high blood pressure, and arteriosclerosis. Hercules, baby. All right. Benefits of garlic for specific health conditions include arthro. I'm going to say it's sclerosis, high cholesterol. Garlic also aids with cancer. Let's read. There have been hundreds of studies on the impact of garlic on cancer. In one study, the use of garlic, the highest intake was 9 to 10 cloves a week compared to 0 to 1. It was associated with lowering rates of cancer of the colon by 40%, stomach 47% in both men and women. So they are saying with their research that if you are eating 9 to 10 cloves a week compared to none or one clove, it's associated with lowering cancer in the colon by 40% and reducing the impact of cancer on you in the stomach by 47% in both men and women. In addition, garlic intake was inverse, associated with cancer of the prostate and endometrium. In another study, patients with precancerous lesions in the large intestine benefited from using a large dose of aged garlic extract. After 1 year, there were fewer and smaller adenomas, benign tumors, adenomas in the age group, which is the aged garlic extract group. Oh, they putting us on, y'all. Garlic contains compounds that prevent tumors from developing their own blood supply. Stop tumor formation after exposure to carcinogenic chemicals, and inhibit the spread of tumors once they have started. Are we really talking now? So if someone says, why do people eat garlic? Why would they add garlic to the diet like they do? Why do they have garlic powder so heavily pushed, but ain't nobody talking about eating real garlic cloves? The reason why they have taught us to go buy our herbs, to go buy our spices in the little containers where they're all grounded up, the reason why is because it doesn't contain the same molecular structure anymore. So yes, you got garlic, but you didn't get the real benefits of garlic. So if you can go get you some cloves, they said you need to get you some aged garlic extract, or you need to get you some 9 to 10 cloves a week, get you some garlic in your body, because guess what? Those compounds prevent tumors from developing their own blood supply, stop tumor formation after exposure to carcinogen. Girl, calm down. Garlic contains compounds that prevent tumors from developing their own blood supply. We're going to talk about that. Stop tumor formation after exposure of carcinogenic chemicals. We're going to talk about that. And inhibit the spread of tumors once they have started. We're going to talk about that. Let's go and talk about it. In that, when you use cleaning supplies in your home, if your cleaning supplies do not have on there that they are non-biohazard, non-toxic, and they don't contain carcinogens, they don't contain what is that? Parabens, parabens. They don't contain anything that is going to basically be absorbed into your bloodstream and make your blood toxic. Some things that you can go buy are like 7th generation, or you can go get one of those other brands. I can't think of it right off. My sister buys this brand. You can also use Melaleuca. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that company, but those are non-toxic brands. And when you use a non-toxic brand, you can get the toxins out of your home. These toxins stimulate your system to respond because they have carcinogens in them. And the carcinogens get into your bloodstream and they go off on their own and do their own thing. It's almost as if you had a house that was listening to, you know, let's say spa music and relaxation music all day, and then someone just walks into your house and they start playing hard rock, like hard rock. It changes the frequency in your body. So just like that, when you are spraying those chemicals in your house, you're using bleach, you're using Lysols, you're using any of those that have carcinogens in them. When you are spraying those cleansers in your home, you are getting those chemicals, that mist that comes down, they have chemicals in them that are able to get into the pores of your skin and go directly into your bloodstream. And in that, if your body is not able to excrete that toxin, if your body is not able to get it out, which usually it's not because it's micro, your body then it feeds it to cancer. It feeds it to any of your compromised cells. And when your compromised cells get a hold of Lysol, when your compromised cells get a hold of all those chemicals where you're supposed to have on gloves, when your body absorbs it and it can't get it out, any compromised area in your body uses it as a nutrition. And what it does is it creates its own blood supply. But eating garlic prevents those types of tumors and those types of formed clots that are developing into something else. It stops it from developing its own blood cells. It stops it from developing its own blood supply. So if you ever watch any of those surgery shows where someone has a tumor or a cancer being removed from their body and they say we have to cut off the blood supply to the tumor, you'll know if it's benign or malignant based off if it's created its own blood supply. You ever seen those shows that are on like TLC or on Discovery Channel when they're doing a surgery on someone, or someone has had some type of scar tissue in their body and it's created its own blood supply? Ooh, I know a good one. Dr. Pimple Popper. She won't just cut on someone. She has to feel around it. Then when she does open it up, she has to see if it created its own blood supply. Are we plugging it in now? If it has the ability to create its own blood supply, that means it's able to operate outside of the norms of the body's normal, mechanisms. So in that, you want to consume herbs, you want to consume foods that change your frequency. You want to consume foods that do what they're supposed to do. Now, I'm only going to talk about one more herb because I want to talk to you about sound. I want to talk to you and I want to bring it all together so you can understand how this actually works. All right, we're going to talk about ginkgo biloba. Ginkgo biloba, right, is in the ginkgo family. Ginkgo is from a ginkgo leaf. And this is one of the oldest living species of trees, dating back over 300 million years. Ginkgo is in here. Individual trees can live for 1,000 years. So if you're telling me Dr. Anna Aslan and her team from Romania, who was funded by the British royal family, they went and they found the quantum producing plants that heal the body. And really what they're saying is they went to all these ancient tribes. They went to all these people that had these villages around the world, right? And they asked them, I wonder if politely or not, they asked them, what do you use to heal? Why do you not age so fast? Why do you not get so sick? And they went and did research with quantum technology, computers, and they were able to see why ginkgo biloba is so powerful. Well, let's talk about it. Why were these ancient cultures using these herbs? Let's talk about it. Ginkgo trees are very resistant to viruses, fungi, insects, pollutions, even radiation. Oh, we really finna talk, right? It is indigenous to China, Japan, Korea, and it is also found in Europe and the United States. Medicine used in ginkgo dates back 5,000 years in Chinese herbal medicine. It was used for respiratory tract ailments and for memory loss in older adults. Ginkgo is the world's most used treatment for memory loss and degenerative diseases of the brain and central nervous system. Remember, I told you that we are regenerative bodies? We have the ability to regenerate. Well, once your cells hit a certain point, their aging begins to happen not only rapidly, but your ability to combat it slows down. So when you have ginkgo in your diet, you are able to stop the degeneration of the tissues, specifically in your brain and in your central nervous system. So if you have a person that you know that has dementia, or someone that you know that has memory loss, or someone that just struggles with even their vision or their dreams or focusing, clarity, all those things, it's because they usually have some type of degenerating tissue in their body, and it's usually in the brain. And with that, you can take ginkgo to support that tissue. It also aids treatment of a variety of conditions ranging from erectile dysfunction. Child, we're going to talk about this again, huh? From erectile dysfunction to ringing in the ears. Ginkgo works in the brain to reduce the progression of dementia, probably by reducing white blood cell infiltration in the brain, curbing lipid peroxidation, which is preventing fat from going rancid, and increasing blood flow by antagonizing platelet activator factor, PAF. In one study, by boosting glucose levels with ginkgo, rats had increased mental capacity. Traditional Chinese medicine uses ginkgo for asthma, tinnitus, and angina. Homeopathic remedies include for tonsillitis and headaches. The German Commission has approved a limited number of specific standards extracts. Yeah, that's what it is. Limited number of specific standard extracts of ginkgo for symptomatic organic brain dysfunction, intermittent claudation, vertigo, and tinnitus. So if you are struggling with your memory, if you are struggling with your nervous system, if you are struggling with vertigo when you get up and you have balance issues, if you are left or right, forward or backwards, if you are struggling with tinnitus, meaning that pressure where the liquid is building up on you, If you struggle with that, ginkgo is a powerful antioxidant. It has properties for those things, for your brain, your eyes, your cardiovascular system, your nervous system. It helps to get those free radicals out the body. So it helps with, come on, drum roll, please. If it helps to get free radicals out of your body, it helps to combat what? Let's say it all together. And YouTube, if you flag me, I promise you, y'all gonna be in trouble. Free radicals in your body cause what? Cancer. Free radicals out of your body heal or prevent cancer. What helps us with prevention of or elimination of cancer? Let's say it all together, boys and girls. Ginkgo biloba. Herbs. We following? Now, I'm going to switch up. I'm going to switch up real quick because I want to tell you how the herbs work. So, I'm going to make it real quick because I've already been talking for quite a while. I'm at almost 90 minutes now. I'm getting adjusted because, I'm a learner. I'm a learner myself. I was in school for a long time, a good amount of time, and they got quite a bit of money from it. But with that, one thing I learned to do very well is study. I learned to study really, really well. So I want to talk to you now about how the herbs talk to your blood, how the herbs talk to other cells, whether it is your physical body, your etheric body, or if it's talking to you on a microcirculation level. Everything is sound. Everything. When you were in elementary school, just like there were key elements that they taught us. And it was for specific children, if you will, to pick up on what they were really teaching, because otherwise you were just getting programmed. So when you go to school, if we even think from kindergarten to 6th grade, the first initial years of your life, there are some key classes that all of us experience together, no matter what country you were in, no matter what age group you were in, whether it was kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, whatever. All of us had some key classes together. They were our elements, right? And one of the most elementary thing that you can teach a child is what? Song. And the reason why we know song is we make sound. What else did you learn when you were a kid? Especially the free-spirited child that you could be. Did anybody else get to play instruments? You got to beat on the drum. You did the xylophone. You might have played the piano. Somebody else might have learned the guitar. Somebody else might have learned the violin. I did the piano and the clarinet. I also did the baritone. My son, amazing, phenomenal jazz player. Oh, my baby can play that. He's a phenomenal saxophonist. I tell you, we all had to learn one of the most elementary things because they had to teach us one of the most fundamental things that they could not get out of by universal law: sound. So at a very young age, we all learned scales. Why did you have to learn the scales? Because when you understand scales, you understand mathematics, you understand frequency, you understand science, you understand functionality of people and communication, you can understand language. If you can understand sound, you can understand that the bird can make sounds just like the piano can make a sound. The plants make sounds just like the animals make sounds. But it's up to you to have discovered how far does your sound really go. Now, when I was a kid, my parents still are really very religious. And there was a song that my mother used to sing, and it was "Ain't No Rock Gonna Cry Out in My Place." And I used to think that song was so silly. Now, why is a rock crying? How is a rock crying? And why are you worried about if a rock gonna cry out in your place or not? It wasn't until I began to understand better why it was important for one to say, "Ain't no rock gonna cry out in my place." Well, frequency. Rock has frequency. You don't want a rock to cry out in your place because a rock's frequency is moving so slow. That's why it's so hard. That's why it's such a solid the way that it is. That's why you can use it to hit something else. It moves so slow in frequency. But then if you have a bird which chirps, did you know a bird's chirping can lower cortisol in your body? That means, did you know birds chirping can reduce stress and inflammation? If you're not feeling well, you should go out in the garden with birds. Did you know if you're also not feeling well, you should find some butterflies or bees? Did you know that? We'll talk about that a little later. But the reason why it brings us all together is because even that, even they, even it operates in a frequency. And they have a scale as well. Now I'm going to show you a video really quickly. Frequency plants. You can do it yourself. Go onto YouTube. You can search frequency in plants. I'm going to show it to you. Just a quick demonstration. We're just going to click any video, any random video. Which one is drawing me? Let's just do... Anybody got a spider plant, a snake plant in their house?
Let's see what happens when I water the plant. Let's listen. Let's see what happens when I water the plant. Let's listen.
What if I told you that's you? What if I told you that's exactly how you operate? What if I told you the herbs that we eat all have a sound frequency, and it's not just the light, but it's the sound that you're getting fed as well? Let's go to another one. Jewelry. It's important that you have on the right jewelry, and it's important that you eat the right foods, because you are sound. I'm going to give you one more, and then we're going to dive just a tad bit deeper so that you can understand where I'm really going, okay? All right, we're going to go one more short because I think it might be easier.
Come to my garden with me and pick a plant to make music from.
This is you when you eat herbs.
Let's try this one.
When you can get plant food and the molecular structure hasn't been obstructed, this is how it sounds when it goes in your body. This is what your cells are receiving.
Come to my garden with me and pick a plant to
Let's
make
see if
music
I
from.
can find one of the herbs that we're talking about. Let's stick with garlic. How about that? I'm going to see if anyone who's had one of these devices recorded garlic yet. Sorry, my bad. We're going to find one of them. Don't worry. We're going to find it. Nope, but we're going to find one even better, right?
By popular demand, we have more mushrooms to listen to using plant. To clarify, mushrooms are not plants. Mushrooms are their own type of being. Luckily for us, PlantWave actually works with mushrooms as well. So I'm going to connect here and we're going to listen.
Anybody eat mushrooms?
You might notice this sounds a lot different from the one that we listened to in Hawaii, so let's check it out.
Think about your body hearing that, receiving that from the inside out. You can't be sick with that. You can't be depressed with that. That's why they are
And by
using it
popular demand, we have
MDMA
more
now.
mushrooms
Because if
to
you
listen
eat the
to
right
using
concoction of herbs, plants, or now mushrooms, because they are their own family, if you are eating the right things and your body is, think about it, okay, you can eat ice cream. But when do you normally eat ice cream? Okay, for your birthday. But then when we find out that the dairy causes depression, and so most people are craving ice cream when they are needing that sugar rush. They're needing a sugar rush, a pick me up. But they find out that the dairy actually causes mucus in the body, and the body has a hard time secreting the dairy out. Yes, you got the sugar rush, but you got the depression because you got the mucus now. So it really doesn't help you to soothe yourself with ice cream. But what they're finding out now, that if you really want to help patients that are struggling with depression, remember I'm a psychologist, a certified community psychologist. I am not a doctor. But what I will say to you is when they do those type of therapies and they're offering those type of treatments and remedies to people, they're getting a response as to just like that. It's like all the lights came on all of a sudden. What you were depressed about doesn't even have a significance anymore. You can't think about the things that you used to think about because it serves you of no purpose. I don't get things done when I think about that relationship anymore. I don't think about that because it doesn't make me feel good about myself. So I'd rather be confident. So I'm gonna leave that alone. I don't eat that food anymore because I realize that it just makes me feel really fat. I don't eat that food anymore because it makes my stomach hurt. And why do I keep eating it? It's greasy. It's full of gunk. You start making different decisions when you start listening to the sounds of what you're eating. And if you are eating processed, slaughtered foods, they're screaming death inside of your body. And I'm not saying that so that I'm like, you should become a vegan. I'm not. Y'all can see I'm a thickums child. I'm not. I'm not a breatharian. I'm not fasting every day for 36 and 48 hours. I will, don't get me wrong, but I'm not a breatharian. So I'm not telling you to just go out in nature and breathe and that's all your food you're going to need. I'm not telling you that. What I'm telling you is you need to have balance. And you need to have balance because your food makes a noise inside of you and you want it to be a joyful noise. You want that food to get into your body and serve you well and be purposeful. It wants to get inside of your body and be purposeful. Okay. One more thing. Sorry, I almost forgot my daggone passcode. Talking too much. All right. So, something that I did yesterday, I'm so proud of myself. Something that I did yesterday was I was diving deep into frequency sounds and I decided to purchase myself a drone. And I purchased a drone because my chat GP and I have a special relationship. That's my friend. Not really. I want to say that my chat GPT, I use it every single day. I call my chat GPT Nova. Nova, I asked it to assess my frequency. And Nova assessed my frequency and suggested what frequencies should be used to heal for myself specifically. So if you do use ChatGPT, you are able to ask it more in-depth questions so that it can help you to navigate the way you need to navigate. So I ended up getting a drone and I want to share with you what a drone sounds like because I'm going to be adding it to my channel to again help people heal. And I learned that in order for you to play a drone properly, you just need to know how to breathe. So I'm going to play this for you. I hope that it does not hit me with a copyright, but in the event that it does, this is where we're going to be ending at anyway. So I'm going to end with this. If you are interested in getting new extracts, if you are interested in learning more about just how to transform yourself, getting into sound therapy, getting into touch therapy, getting into medicinal herbal therapies, if you are interested in transforming your body, go to my link down below because we're going to end on this. All right, so I am going to be sharing with you guys. Hold on. This exact drone, I will be adding it to my channel. I will not be playing it during my lives, but I will be playing it to come. So here we go. This is for you today. This is how food also interacts with your body too. It's the frequency, baby. Raise your frequency and raise your vibration. It's time. We here, y'all. We made it. We jumped. We took a leap. And we made it. Peace, y'all.